All right, so today we're talking about what is the best credit score or what credit score do you need to start getting financing, to start getting credit. In my opinion, the credit game is very simple, but the hard part is having the discipline that you need in order to get access to the credit that you want. I'm a firm believer that credit is 1,000% mindset because it does take a lot of discipline in order for you to not only get to the credit score that you need, but to maintain that credit score for a long period of time. So in simple terms, just to get right to the answer and just to answer your question, the credit score that you need, easy enough, 700 plus, both Equifax and TransUnion. So here in Canada, we only have two credit bureaus. Unlike the States where they have three, we only have two. So we just need to make sure that we take care of those two things and then we'll be fine. Now, I speak and I work with a lot of clients, and a lot of times they want to get to a 900 credit score, which is great, but it's not necessary. You don't need to do this at all. A 700 credit score is just fine. The difference between someone that has a 700, someone that has an 800 or a 900 is that they've been consistent in making on-time payments, keeping their utilization low, and avoiding any derogatory accounts such as collection accounts, bankruptcies, or any new late payments that may show up. So if you find yourself trying to figure out or trying to wonder where do I start to get to that credit score that I need, the first step is always by getting your access to your credit report. So you always want to get access to your credit report first. Go download Credit Karma. That's going to give you your TransUnion. Go download your Equifax credit report. You can get Borrowwell. Go to borrowwell.com. That's going to give you your Equifax report. You need access to both. I've been in so many consultation calls with clients. I've worked with so many clients where they don't even have access to either one of their credit reports. They're using their banking app to access their credit report, which is a huge problem because you're just missing out on so much information, or you're not even getting the full bird eyes view of what's on your credit report. You need to know what's fully on your credit report. That way you're not taken by surprise when you go to a dealership and you apply for an auto loan, for example, right? So as soon as you have that credit report, then you want to be able to quickly scan through it and see if we have anything in the public record section, anything in the collection section. That way we know what we need to dispute, okay? Now, you may not be any one of these individuals that have derogatory accounts. If you don't have any derogatory accounts, then you are in a good place. You don't have to dispute, but you probably are still below the 700 credit score range, okay? If this is you, then you need to look at your credit cards. Do you have any credit cards? If you don't have any credit cards, get yourself a credit card. Your credit score may be too low. That's okay. Get yourself a secure credit card. There's always an answer. There's always an answer. You just have to be resourcefulness and this or resourceful, sorry. And that's why it's extremely important that you have the right mindset. Like I said, this is a mindset thing. Because so many people, when I work with them, they'll say, well, oh, I can't get approved for a credit card, or oh, like I'll never get to an 800 credit score. But that's just a reflection of your mindset, because I was well within that same position to where I was in the 500s, or I was very had a bunch of charge-off accounts, but I was able to turn my credit around and get to a point today where I'm in the 800s, right? Because your credit score is going to always fluctuate, but I'm in the 800s, and I've been there for a long period of time now because I've had the discipline and I know what I need to know. So maybe yourself, you just need to gather the right information and then use that information in order to get to the point where you're trying to get to. So again, if you don't have any collection accounts or anything in the public records, you're in a good position. Get yourself a credit card, okay? Get yourself a credit card, and then we want to make sure we are managing that credit card to the best of our ability. I always push the Capital One secure credit card. In my opinion, that is the best secure credit card. Up to date, there is no annual fee on this credit card, so you should most definitely get that card. Put your small deposit. Hopefully you have money saved away. Get yourself a deposit. Put it onto that credit card, and then we just want to make sure we're keeping our utilization below 10%. I'm going to say this until I turn blue. Keep your utilization below 10%. That is the biggest aspect. That alongside with making sure you don't have any late payments or any derogatory accounts onto your credit report, okay? So we do this, but we do this over an extended period of time. A lot of people, they get into the position to where they say, okay, I'm going to lower my utilization. They see a little bit of success, and then they do it for month two, and then they kind of stagnate, right? they say, oh, well, my credit score isn't increasing anymore. I'm just going to go back to doing things how I was doing it, maxing out the credit card or not really paying attention to my utilization. And then you come back to someone like myself and you say, hey, well, I tried that and it's not working. But the reality of it is the credit bureaus and their system on how they calculate your credit score, they're not stupid. So they want to see that you can be able to do this over a long period of time. And I always encourage my clients to keep their utilization below 10% for at least 6 months. If you can't keep your utilization below 10% for 6 months, how can you even think about having a 30-year mortgage? How can you even think about having a 30-year mortgage? Even less than that, how can you even think about having a 5-year installment loan for an auto loan and you can't keep your utilization below 10% for the next 6 months? So this is exactly it goes back to what I was saying about your mindset, right? Because it's going to take discipline. And with that practice of you keeping your utilization below 10% for the next 6 months, that's when I'm then going to say, okay, now do it for the rest of your life, right? And it may sound crazy if you've never done it before, but there's going to be some new habits that you have to adopt to make it easy for you to do so. So for example, one of the biggest habits that I needed to adopt in order for me to feel comfortable with keeping my utilization low for as long as I have done so for so long now is with budgeting. Okay, so you need to have a budget. And budgeting is going to be extremely hard in the beginning. It is extremely tough. I budget every single Sunday without fail. I budget every single Sunday without fail. I don't even second guess. I will not let my Sunday go by without me going to my budget and budgeting for the week because I am now setting my future for success. I am now setting my finances, my savings, my investments, and I'm also setting up my credit for success by sticking to this one habit. When I first started budgeting, I was surprised by the amount of money that I was saving because you don't know how much money you actually have until you have the numbers in front of you. You may feel like you're poor, okay? Because a lot of people do. You may feel like you're poor until you get yourself in front of those numbers and see how much money you truly have. And it may be the opposite. You may even say, I don't have as much money as I thought I did, which is okay because then from there, once you have the information in front of you, you're in a position to make adjustments. And this is what successful people do, or what we call winners do. They're able to put the information in front of them and then make the adjustments accordingly until they find out what works for themselves. So if what you're doing with your credit is not working, then it's time for you to change what you're currently doing. And this goes back to the mindset thing, which why I believe credit is a 1,000% mindset, right? So if you want to improve your credit in 2025, get yourself to the 700s, then you need to change your habits. And one of the biggest ones is budgeting. Get yourself a credit card if you don't have one. Get it, keep your utilization below 10%. Dispute and remove those derogatory accounts. And for those that say, I want to be at a 900, if you do what I just said long enough, you'll be there. Okay, you'll be in the late 800s because it's going to fluctuate between 8 to 900. You'll be where you need to be, but you have to start those habits and you have to build upon those habits and make sure once you start that habit, you never turn back. Okay, but those that are stuck in the 700s or whatever, then they're not consistent with what they need to be. And so understand, you would rather take advice from someone that's in the position that you would want to be in. I would at least hope so. Because I had to do the same thing. When I was having terrible credit, I had to go to those that had great credit and learn from them. If you don't want to take my advice, go look at people just such as Stephen Graham. He's a great YouTuber and he gives great advice on how to manage credit cards and how to use them and leverage them to improve your credit. But there's so many resources out there. It's almost kind of a bad excuse to say, well, I can't fix my credit, because again, there's so many resources available to you to get this information and to learn. Now, if you need help, if maybe you feel like you don't know how to put the pieces together, then I am more than happy to assist you. You can email me and my team at info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. I'll probably put it somewhere on the bottom. You can also go to my Instagram page, Kenny Johnson University. And if you like this video, leave a comment in the comments section and just let me know your thoughts. Maybe you didn't agree with what I have to say. Maybe you don't think credit is 100% mindset. Maybe you have a different opinion. I would love to hear because I'm always learning. I'm not too high up in myself to think that I can't learn anymore, right? So let me know what you think, and thanks for watching the video.